Are you looking to move to Kitchener Waterloo but don't know if it's the right move for you? Stay tuned in this video because I go over the 5 pros and cons of living in Kitchener, Ontario. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Dylan Nissette. I'm a real estate agent with Red and White Realty servicing the Kitchener Waterloo region. So if you are looking to move to Kitchener, Ontario, I'm going to link my contact information down below. As well, I'm going to link my Instagram. I post some of the coolest, craziest houses throughout the Kitchener Waterloo region on that account, as well as some interesting facts and tidbits I find throughout the market. So if you are interested, check that out. So besides that, let's get into the video. The first pro that I have is the housing costs. Compared to nearby cities like Toronto, the housing prices are a lot less. The average home price in Kitchener is $760,000 compared to $1.1 million in Toronto. It's a huge saving of over about 40%. So if you're looking to buy a home, home ownership is a lot more obtainable in Kitchener Waterloo compared to places like Toronto. The second pro is education. Kitchener Waterloo is renowned for its education. The city is home to 2 universities, as well as colleges, high schools, public schools, all that kind of stuff, of course. There is Wilfrid Laurier University, which has over 17,000 full-time students and its campus located in Waterloo, as well as the University of Waterloo, which has an almost 1,000-acre campus and over 22,000 full-time students. There's also Conestoga College, which has 11,000 full-time students and 33,000 part-time students, with campuses located all throughout the region. Kitchener Waterloo is also renowned for its schools for school-age children, with public and high schools located all throughout the region, many of which are very high-ranking. The third pro is nature. Kitchener Waterloo has lots of nature parks and trails scattered all throughout the city. There's parks like Victoria Park, Kiwanis Park, Huron Natural Area Park, Laurel Creek Conservation, as well as the Grand River. And throughout a lot of these parks, there's trails running through them. So lots of nature, lots of trails. So if you do love nature, this is a great city to be in. The fourth pro is the city's diverse workforce. There are major employers from all different industries throughout the region. Industries like technology, there is Google, Communitech, and RIM, the people that made the BlackBerry phones, remember those with the little keyboards built into them. There's also a Toyota factory located in Cambridge. There is financial companies like Manulife and Sun Life Financial. The universities and all the school boards also employ a lot of people, as well as industries like healthcare, and the city of Kitchener employ a lot of people. So the city has a very diverse workforce. So compared to a place like, let's say, Fort McMurray, Alberta, where their economy is very dependent on oil and gas, Kitchener-Waterloo has a very diverse and resilient workforce and economy, making it a great place for people to live, invest, and work. The fifth and final pro, even though there's a lot more pros that I could list but aren't in this video, is the city's proximity to Toronto. Highway 401 runs right through Kitchener, making it an easy commute to Toronto. So if you work in Toronto or Mississauga, or if you want to go to Toronto for some entertainment, if you want to go to a sports game or enjoy some nightlife, visit friends or family, it's about a 60 to 90 minute drive depending on traffic conditions. So it's a great thing to have that proximity to Toronto, and a lot of people from Toronto look to move to Kitchener because of the fact that they're still able to get to Toronto within about an hour without paying $1.1 million for a house. Now time to get into the cons. The first con I'm going to go over, if you haven't already noticed, is Kitchener, Ontario is in this place called Canada. And Canada gets this thing called winter. Our winters can be pretty brutal, as to come to expect in Canada. I've seen temperatures as low as -40, blizzards, snowstorms, you name it, Kitchener-Waterloo gets it. So if you're coming from a warmer or tropical place, it's going to be a bit of a shock for you. If you already live in Canada, it's what you already know and are accustomed to. Another con, even though I kind of said it was a pro earlier, is all of these students. With all of those schools, the universities and whatnot, there's a large student population. And if you know anything about universities and university students, they're not the most quiet and sit at home reading a book type people. If you live in Kitchener already, you are probably well aware of some of these loud parties and various different disturbances that sometimes do come from the universities. People that live away from the university don't really ever notice it, but if you like your peace and quiet, I would not recommend living near the universities. My third con that I have is rent prices. I know I went over how housing prices are a lot less than places like Toronto, but rent prices aren't too much different. The average rent in Kitchener is $2,050. Compared to Toronto, that's about $2,660. It's about a $600 difference, or about 29%, which sounds like a lot, but when you really think of it, it's not that big of a gap, especially when you take into consideration the fact that's an over 40% jump or difference in house prices. So housing is less expensive, but rents, the difference is a lot closer. So if you are looking to rent, you're not going to be getting as great of a deal. But if you are looking to invest, it's a great opportunity because you can buy at a lower price and still get really strong rents. My fourth con is car dependence. Compared to other large cities that have a lot of different transit, subways, etc., Kitchener Waterloo for the most part is car dependent. Now, if you live in uptown Waterloo or downtown Kitchener, it's a bit of a different story because you have the light rail transit, bus routes, and a lot more things are walkable. But if you look at the walk scores in a lot of parts of Kitchener Waterloo, it's pretty low. Kitchener Waterloo is very suburban. A lot of the neighborhoods are detached homes, spread out. Sometimes your nearest grocery store is 2 or 3 kilometers away. And that's something to take into consideration, especially if you're used to living in Toronto, for example, and you don't own a car. Most people in the city, especially people that are living in the more suburban parts of the city, do own a car, and it can be very car dependent. So just something to keep in mind. My fifth and final con is the lack of nightlife. I have compared Kitchener to Toronto way too many times in this video, but if you are accustomed to the entertainment and the nightlife that you would see in Toronto or other major cities, Kitchener Waterloo doesn't really have that there. There are some bars and restaurants and whatnot, but if you're younger and you're in your party years, Kitchener Waterloo maybe isn't the thing for you right away. What it is great for though is families. If you look around and you look at a lot of people are moving to Kitchener Waterloo, a lot of them are families. With the schools and the nature and the parks and all the different amenities, Kitchener Waterloo is a great place to raise a family. So that's a lot of the attraction. If you are young and perhaps going to the universities, Kitchener Waterloo is also great for those reasons. But if you're trying to turn up and party, Kitchener Waterloo might not be the place for you. Okay, so that concludes my video on the 5 pros and cons of living in Kitchener, Ontario. I hope you found this video very informative. If you are looking to move to Kitchener, Ontario, I'm going to link my contact information down below. As well, I'm going to link my Instagram, so feel free to follow me there. I post a lot of really cool and interesting stuff on there about the real estate market in Kitchener Waterloo. As well, I'm going to be posting more videos about stuff like this, house tours, information about moving to Kitchener, Ontario, all kinds of stuff of that caliber. So if you are interested, feel free to subscribe. I have more videos on the way. And besides that, I hope you have a great rest of your day.